to another YouTube video. On today's video, guys, I finally got this whole setup situation figured out, and I'm ready to make my video for the first time in like 3 weeks, almost a month now, so I apologize for the wait, but today we're going to be doing another DbD discussion video, but first, of course, I do have some announcements to make. This is going to be the new setup, and I finally got the webcam situation figured out. I've been trying to get a video out for the past few weeks because I did get moved in a few weeks ago, but I didn't have the webcam situation figured out, and I really wanted this next video to be with a webcam, and I finally did get it to work. Now I will be recording my videos on OBS, and then I will be editing them in using a different software. With trying to record it with my editing software, it would echo a lot, the FPS would be really bad and all that. But now I have it situated, and I got everything set up here for you for this DbD discussion video, and I'm really excited. And these are going to be how all the videos are going to be now, not just videos where I'm talking on my computer or whatever. Every video that I'm recording now will be off of the computer. It won't be me from a distance like I used to. I didn't really like that. I know some people critique that quite a bit as well that I know of, and that is gone. No more of that. It will just be right off the computer, us discussing and all that, and it'll be a lot easier too because I don't have to transfer the video from my phone to the computer. The quality is going to be the exact same because it's directly from the computer and all that, so I'm really excited about that. And I'll leave the rest of the announcements for the rest of the video, but let's get straight on to this DbD discussion now that we have the whole setup. So as you've seen from the title, today we're going to be talking about stretch resolution and why I think it is cheating. Now the first question you're probably going to ask, even when you clicked on this video, the first question you probably asked is, why are you talking about this, especially far after stretch resolution has been a thing? Because stretch resolution really has been a thing, but it hasn't really gotten well known until about, I would say, 6 months ago, even a little bit before that probably like 8 months ago, almost a year ago now. But it is still pretty relatively new, and the reason why I'm talking about it right now specifically is because I've been watching some DbD tournaments, specifically Swish's DbD tournament. Those of you who watch Otofu, he's been streaming the DbD tournament. So I've been watching that, you know, just because I really like watching DbD tournaments. I think they're really enjoyable. And one of the things that struck out to me and kind of bothered me quite a bit, and, you know, made me want to make this video, was that the people who were running the tournament and, you know, regulating stuff and making sure everything was going all right, allowed for stretch resolution. And I don't really know why this is the case. It might just because they don't really have any authority over it. They can't really do much about preventing the people from using stretch resolution other than just kicking them out of the tournament. My guess is that they allow them to use stretch resolution just because a lot of people in these tournaments are not from the US, they're in foreign countries, and they probably have a different view of stretch resolution, and they probably just don't want to really argue with that. They just want good tournament gameplays. So I guess I could kind of, you know, see that argument there, although, you know, I do think stretch resolution gives an advantage. No matter how small the advantage is, it is still an advantage, and it still is cheating, and I'm going to show you why in this video. So, as you can see, I have Paint opened up so I can make some markings and stuff like that, just to show you. But, otherwise, you can see kind of this comparison photo that I just got right offline and put it on here for this video. But I wanted to use it because I think it's a good example, and I don't have to keep cutting and pasting, or copy and pasting images in here. But let's just start out with these top two photos here, and I think these are a really great example. I'll have to scroll up a little bit, and how about zoom in here too as well. I think that's, yeah, that's really good right there. Ignore this comparison text, sorry about that, but let me get a brush out here so I can just kind of show you. And obviously, this is the normal FOV, and this is stretch res. So you can immediately see the difference. And I guess starting right off the bat, what I hear a lot from people who excuse stretch res for what it is they say that all stretch res is, it's just like a widening of your screen, and it doesn't actually show you any additional information. It actually just makes it harder on you. And that's not exactly the case. Although I can agree that using stretch resolution does take some time to get used to. After a while, you just get really good at it. You get the muscle memory, and you know how to use structure resolution to your advantage very, very greatly. And then it doesn't really become a challenge at all. And those of you who say that this is just a widening of your screen, that is not what stretch resolution is. A lot of users who use stretch resolution, and the reason why I know it's not a widening of your screen, is because people who use stretch resolution, when you're spectating them in these tournaments, which I've been watching, they will typically look down at the ground. As you can see, this survivor right here is looking down at the ground, and I believe it's just so that they can kind of show the example of the additional information stretch resolution can see. Typically, if the survivor was just looking straight up, but this survivor is looking down, they wouldn't be able to see as much even with stretch resolution, but because they're using stretch resolution and they're looking down, their camera screen is moving up. And the same thing happens when you're using a regular camera screen. Your camera screen will move just slightly up. And then you can see with this regular, with your just regular FOV, you can just barely, when you go to like the maximum you can look down and hugging up against the wall, all you can see is the killer's head. And a little bit of his red stain here, obviously red stain here as well, but it only really goes through the cracks at some points. Typically, you're not going to be able to see his red stain this easily at a loop like this, because he's going to be facing sideways, not forward. So all you can see is this little bit of his head in this specific part of this loop. Maybe if you went over here, you probably wouldn't be able to see his head as well. And obviously, it's very inconvenient having to move your camera screen that much and having to be hugged against the wall that much just to see the killer's head. That's very, very inconvenient. But if we look over here at stretch resolution, he's looking down the same amount, and he is hugged against the wall the same amount. And look at all this extra information he gets. That's basically the maximum amount of information he can get. And if he looked up, you know, a lot further, you know, let's just say he moved up to like here, he would still probably be able to see from here, I would say. It just kind of a rough estimate, but you see how much easier and more convenient it is to see that extra information with stretch resolution. And I guess the main thing here is it baffles me that that these people who run these tournaments and just regular day-to-day people will you know, just they'll accept stretch resolution, they'll say it's not cheating, and they'll say, well, you know, maybe it is cheating, but it only gives you a slight advantage and it doesn't give you much of a difference. That's like saying if someone is running, you know, very under-the-radar cheats, they're running maybe like a 5% permanent haste effect for the rest of the game, and they're going against even just a regular 115% killer, but imagine how much of an effect that could be on an 110% killer. But let's just say on a regular 110 or 115% killer, and you have, well, typically it's a 7% haste effect. Like, let's say you cheated blood pack so that it's like a permanent buff, and you get a 7% haste effect. Even against a regular 115% killer, just imagine that small little cheat can make a big difference in the game. And that's basically what you're accepting. If you are accepting stretch resolution, you're accepting those small little under the radar cheats. And what disappoints me the most is that, I mean, throughout all the games that I played on DbD, just imagine how many stretch resolution gamers I've probably gone against, because it has been becoming increasingly more popular, especially on PC. And people just kind of let it go. They don't really care about it. And I don't think that the devs necessarily don't care about it. I just don't think the devs really care about hacking that much in general, which I really wish they did, because hacking in general is becoming more of a problem, or I should call it cheating. So the part that just baffles me the most is that this is just widely accepted. I mean, let's look down at these other two photos where they're using stretch resolution as well. I mean, in this photo, typically all the survivor would be able to see with a regular camera, looking down as far as possible. But at normal, this is about as much as they could see from this angle, and probably cut off here as well. This is what they would be able to see. And if they were looking up, or they were looking down as far as they can to get as much information, maybe up here, so that they can see a little bit of the killer. With stretch resolution, I mean, he barely has to put any effort in it, and he gets all this extra information. And then I'll just use the last example here. He has stretch resolution. He can see the killer's head very, very easily, and he can see all this extra information in the distance. And even, you know, not looking down that far, he can probably still see about that much anywhere in these short loops. So typically stretch resolution only gives you an advantage at these short loops. If you're at a tall loop like over here at this T-wall loop, you're likely not going to be able to see over unless you have some crazy stretch resolution. But oh shoot, let me go back. Well, I might have to copy and paste the image back up. Alright, let me do that real quick. But you just see how much more convenient it is for the survivor, right? Now that I've shown you that. Now, if you're using stretch resolution and you're using like what really like literally stretch resolution where your screen is just widening it up because you just want to make it look funny, I'm okay with that. But if you're using the typical stretch resolution where it's just an increased aspect ratio of your screen so that you can see information that you're not supposed to see, then that's just cheating to me. And I'm not saying that, especially for tournament users, they're nothing. I'm not saying that they're nothing without stretch resolution. Obviously, I think it is typically a very small advantage because, I mean, tournament games are a lot about macro play, and the reason why I say that is because tournaments usually play out very, very similar, even throughout different killers. The macro play is really, really what matters in tournament games. But this little micro play and more convenience for the survivors with stretch resolution, I think, can be an advantage that can add up throughout the game and can help them through loops. Because at short loops like these, I mean, say goodbye to mind games, because this survivor is likely going to be able to see the killer's position throughout the entire loop, and the killer cannot mind game. All he can do is, you know, maybe do a few pallet fakes, try to make the survivor run away, but that's about it. There's not really any fun mind games. It eliminates that whole aspect, and it just baffles me that stretch resolution is let go, and people say it's not cheating, even though stretch resolution is clearly giving you more information in the game that you're not supposed to be able to see. And as far as punishing this and making sure it does not happen, I'm not sure how the devs would do that, especially making sure that this doesn't happen. I'm not sure how they would prevent that. But for those of you who say that stretch resolution, you don't think it's cheating, or, you know, that it should just be let go because it's such a small advantage, I'd like to hear your thought. I would like to hear why you think that is, and, you know, what's the argument there, because I really don't see an argument against saying stretch resolution is not cheating. I would really just like to see the argument there, because it really just does baffle me. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Yeah, I think that's it. So, final announcements before I leave. Make sure you stay tuned for the future content. There's going to be some rankings coming up, specifically a Ghostbusters ranking, which I know I'm very, very behind on. I didn't get to see the movie until about a month ago, and then I was trying to do some other videos before that, because I thought they were a little bit more important. But then I canceled those videos. I know some of you knew that I was going to be making that suggested buffs to the DbD perks. I was just not ready for that. And I'm thinking about a different way that I could do that in the future if I do decide to do it. So, we're just going to be doing these shorter videos coming back, just because I really want to get some videos out quick, not some long videos that are going to take a long time to edit. So, make sure you stay tuned for that future content and read the community posts so that you can vote on fun polls and keep up to date. And join the Discord. There's some fun stuff we do there, interesting conversations, interesting, you know, shared posts and stuff like that you can see that you will not be able to see on the channel or on the community post. So join the Discord. Link will always be in the description of every video. Other than that, like and subscribe, guys, and I'll see you next time.